back to another Netfix original on our K-Swap, episode 3. Another boring ass video on removing everything out of our engine bay. Stay tuned, keep watching. Let's get this done.
If there's a way to do this, there probably is. Like if you come at it like that, you might push something. You might break something too. Okay, yeah, those just broke really easy. But technically, if you're gonna pull that out, you want to just get something in there to squeeze those a little bit as you lift up. As you can see, it's a square hole. That's a wee part for us. Are we gonna break this one too, ladies and gentlemen? I guess, oh yeah, that's how it comes out. There you go. Learn something every day. So we're just gonna take our hood rod, support rod. We're gonna pull it out, and we're gonna go back towards the master cylinder, and then straight out. Nice. Should pop out a little easier without that rod in there. Oh yeah. Woo. Tongue punch that fart box. And then next we're gonna go and remove our master cylinder. Basically your connector. We're gonna take our cap off, suck out all the fluid with a syringe, disconnect our brake lines, and then remove the mounting bolts. And on the inside, there's just a clevis pin with a cotter pin through it. So cotter pin out, clevis pin out, and we should be able to work that baby out of there. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Whoa! When did this syringe all of a sudden get so stiff for me? There is no environmental precautions for brake fluid because it's water soluble. Hygroscopic, baby. Absorb that water. If you want dry hands, get some brake fluid. $10 mil on your brake line, just like everything else, which is nice. Oh, we're good. On to number 2. Oh, slowly filling up. She's starting to leak now. Hoppa! Just gonna give these a little bend over here. Fling some brake fluid everywhere. Put that right like that for now. So you're just gonna squeeze your fat ass down into here. Just gonna squeeze down underneath your dash. And there's just studs that come through the clutch pedal and the brake pedal mounting plates. And there's 2 for the clutch, and it looks like 4 on the brake. We're just gonna go ahead and remove all 6 of those nuts while we're down here, and those clevis pins with the cotter pins, also remove those. I'll show you right now. Okay, we're gonna start over on the right side here. We got 1 nut there, and just up and above, we got another nut right on the left there. And now we're gonna come down to the left, those 2 nuts. And then on our clutch, we got that nut there, and this nut here. And those are our clevis pins. Let's see if we can get in there better with a cotter pin. And same with on our, I don't know if I can get up onto the brake one, but where your push rod there for the master cylinder, just follow that and you'll find a little clevis pin that holds your brake pedal to that push rod somewhere in there. I think that might be it there. Good luck, enjoy. Okay, so this is the brake clevis pin and cotter pin. And so, as you can see, you can't just remove it. Safety first. You just got to get in there. I went in there with a screwdriver, and as soon as I flicked that guy open, it just fell right off. That one, and then on your clutch, I put it back into place, sorry. It had just a normal cotter pin. Although, take note that there is a little bushing, a little plastic bushing in there. So just don't lose that bushing. So that's why I just kind of put it right back in and put the cotter pin back on while we have it apart so I don't lose the bushing. All right, we got those 4 nuts removed from the back side of the brake booster. I think it should just wiggle out now. I could be completely wrong. I feel like I might be completely wrong, but we will see. I'm pretty sure the whole thing should just come right out of there. You gotta get the 4 bolts that are right in line with each other. There's another bolt that's above your throttle. Not the right bolt. But maybe, we'll find out. Let's just see. This should come off now. I got that. Give it a little twist-a-rosa. So yeah, it's just the 4 bolts like so. And where your clevis pin sits. Bob's your uncle. All right, it would be nice to get these brake lines out of the way, obviously, for painting purposes, which we haven't decided on yet. But next, booster gone, clutch reservoir gone. I should say clutch master cylinder, brake master cylinder, booster are removed. And now we're just gonna drop our subframe right out of there. We gotta put a new subframe in, and we're gonna paint everything underneath there so that it's super fresh. And since we're still on the ground here, we're gonna go back inside and disconnect our connection for our steering column, wherever that is. First thing in your steering column, just pull down on this clamp here at the top by your steering wheel. Just kind of open that up, pop that off. You got a push pin right here. Easier to just pop that out. Or I just gave it a pull when it came out, but I hit my finger. So if you don't want to hit your finger, just pop that out first. Now we have access to the bare steering column. So we just got a 10 mil bolt, it looks like, that's holding onto the steering rack. Actually, you can probably see it, right? I'll take the reins. Yeah, so we're just gonna pull that bolt all the way out, and it should allow that splined shaft to come out with the subframe and the steering rack all as a unit. 10 mil bolt. And because we're doing a K-swap, we do not need to mark our shaft. If you were putting the original steering rack back in, you'd want to put a mark where your clamp is clamping onto the steering rack, just so your steering wheel stays centered on the steering rack. But we do not have to do that because we're getting a new rack. We're removing these wheels for you. You guys want to watch? Ooh. Very nice. Very nice. One thing at a time today is. Alright, so on the K-swap, we will be using a new subframe from a 94 Civic, and also different lower control arms that also have a sway bar mount. So we will not be using this subframe, the steering rack, or the lower control arms, but we will be reusing the struts and our knuckle, brakes, upper control arm. So I'm just gonna undo our upper control arm bolts. I'm gonna leave this attached. We're gonna take the brake right off of here, the brake line off of the hard line to flex line, take our tie rod off, and take the lower ball joint off, and then I'm just gonna take this with the upper control arm and put it aside. Just makes it easier to not have to juggle a bunch of parts when we're trying to drop that subframe. Ow. Hey, you see how tight that was? So tight. This one's a little bit rusty. So you just gotta pull that baby off. That can stay attached to our knuckle because we don't need to take it off. Now, I'm gonna take off our tie rod and then our bottom ball joint nut. Ultimate punch! Let's set in like hot rod. Woo! Could've used an air hammer. Looks like the nuts for the upper control arms are welded, I think, onto the body. So we should be able to just pull them out from the engine bay. Next, onto our control arms. We have our tie rod and our ball joint disconnected. So we're just gonna pull out these. It's a 14 mil. One on each side of your strut tower. All right, let's see how this goes. Come over here, D-Money. Just gonna hold it right here. Let's pull out those bolts. Hoping that we can just come out right like that. Last but not least, to get out of our way, is our struts. So 17 mil, just gonna pull this off first, and then I'll undo the 2 nuts on the top mount, and out she comes. Later. Oh, later. And simple as this. Hold your strut from below. Our control arm is actually holding it up. Come on. How are you that tight on there? Annoying. Right now we're lifting on the lift points that Honda put on the vehicle, which is perfect. They actually balance the vehicle nice, but you're gonna wanna make sure, since it's got no weight in the front here, we're gonna be dropping that subframe, so literally no weight. You could put like a pedestal stand or some type of jack stand on the back just so you don't fall off the hoist, but just make sure like we're actually pretty balanced. I'm lifting up pretty hard, and she doesn't want to go back at all, so I think we're probably safe considering how light this car is in general, that it's well balanced and has a very wide mounting system for the hoist, which is nice. Subscribe. We're just gonna use a train jack for it because I have it. I got a little bit of a messed up arm, and yeah. I'm not gonna lift up at all because we just watched a video on the Instagram of the hoist falling, the car falling off the hoist because somebody was lifting not smart. We're just gonna let it lower. Lower. We're gonna undo that big boy. And then the 2 on the control arm on this side, and we'll try and do the 2 on the control arm on that side. So it looks like 5 bolts on each side. We're just gonna hit them with our impact gun, and this bad boy should fall right out of there. All right, let's rattle and rattle. All right, I'm just gonna crack all of them a little bit first. 19 mil. That's more than I was gonna crack originally. So far, they're all the same bolt. That one's longer. That one's skinnier. That's the same as the other ones. Let's see what these ones are. A real short one on the inside, which can probably stay in there. So that bolt just holds your rear bushing onto the subframe. Not to the way. Another long bolt on the inside. We don't need this one. Pretty balanced. Got her jammed up against the car a little bit. Okay, now let's just rock, rattle, and roll. So we got a subframe. Yeah, came right off. Make sure you pay attention to where your steering rack goes, just in case the splines is on an angle and we're coming straight down. So you might want to wiggle it out towards the front a little bit, just in case it hangs up on that steering column. Hanging up right now on it a bit. All right. Forward a bit. So now that we've removed the sub frame, are you guys gonna subscribe? Woo! Oh, that's and doing some workouts later in life. That's how good this train jack works. You can handle 210 pounds. Barely goes down. I think I pulled an ACL on that leg stretch. So we got a fair amount of weight in the back of this because we pretty much put all the parts that we might be reusing into the trunk, and where it still is pretty solid on the hoist, so we feel pretty comfortable with that. One note here, beautiful access for our fuel lines, and if you're going to be changing brake lines, if you're going to be altering your evap, then right now is the time to do it. We messed that up, so we're going to have to do it once the subframe's in. We'll be able to show you how to do it when the subframe's already in. Another one is this evap vent over here. So you can reuse the entire evap canister and system if you want. It sticks out like a sore thumb. It's a big black box in there with hoses. So there's multiple ways you can go about that. We're considering just chopping this off here and creating an adapter for just a valve cover breather, like a nice K&N style breather, just so that vents and doesn't allow moisture and water to go down to your fuel. But yeah, this is the stupid evap vent, and you can't access it because the subframe bolts right up into here, and it looks like you have to remove your subframe if you want to pull this bad boy out. And we're definitely not going to be reusing this, I don't think, in any way, shape, or form. This looks like it just threads on, and then that's just a push pin of some type that will pop off, and she'll be much prettier. Okay, so these brake lines are ugly and right in our way, so if you it's got a big enough hole that you can push it on an angle and just pull it out of there. Same with on this side. We're just gonna kind of bend it a little bit, but get it out of there. This grommet doesn't need to be in there. And now, really everything's free, so we can bend these lines a little bit. We might cut this off further, but now we got way more access, so do whatever you need to do there to give yourself an easier painting and prepping time, because really that's the most important thing, is prepping and not being uncomfortable when you're prepping, and when you're painting, you're not painting around lines and having drips form. This is pretty good. I think Dax is going to go a little further, and tonight he's going to get this whole engine bay a different color for you guys, and it's going to look good in the morning. Can't wait to come back in and scope it out. The CX hatchback is bare in that engine bay and in our fender wells. She's gonna look good. She's gonna look real good. This is the end of episode 3, or this is the end of episode 2. Thanks for following along in this grueling removal, but hopefully if there was anything that we found there that was a bit of a pain, you guys saw and could help you. If this video helped you, please comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, smash that bell, and keep on Netflix and building.